family doesn't want me to come to feel it. Yeah. If I come to feel it, just come alone.
This is all about including people, which is why today on Eid al-Fitr, I'm happy to wish a Pride Mubarak to everyone as well who is celebrating of the Muslim faith. It's all about how we celebrate the multiple layers of identities that make Canada extraordinary and strong. And today we celebrate with the entire LGBTQ community.
Thank you, guys.
Merci beaucoup tout le monde. Happy Pride to everyone.
Pride Days alone are not an accurate indicator of a city's openness to queer people, but it does provide an interesting reference point. I live in Toronto with my partner, and we consider ourselves very lucky. Well, at least as far as gay human rights go. But as tourism boards around the globe roll out the welcome mat to queer people, it's worth at least asking the question, what matters to LGBT travelers? Is it how people treat us? Or is it the experience of those who live there? So with an upcoming trip through Asia on the horizon, we decided to find out. Our first stop is in Bangkok.
Gay Star News. The best kept secrets of gay Thailand that make it an essential destination. The intense gay life of Thailand makes this Far East dream an attractive reality for LGBTI travellers. Thailand is one of the most open-minded and welcoming countries in the world, with the gay community completely accepted and welcome.
This year, Bangkok was to hold its first Pride Parade in over 11 years, but it was postponed due to mourning for their king. Pride organizers denied the decision was made under pressure by order of the government, but many remain skeptical. Still, Bangkok retains a reputation of LGBT acceptance. I wonder if the impression of Bangkok could be based on things like the red light districts and ladyboy bars. While these exist, they don't really represent the whole of Bangkok. Much like how Amsterdam is known for its marijuana cafes, but in reality, these only exist downtown and are filled with tourists smoking up with one another. Bangkok is no different. On one of the main gay streets known as Soi 4, the vast majority of patrons are clearly tourists. In a strange way, it's like we've all come here to pretend this is what Bangkok is like. Yet it's all a neon illusion that we're paying for. The publication This Week in Asia recently ran an article titled Land of the Ladyboys, and in it they quote a transgender activist as saying, "Abroad, you may think that in Thailand there's a very open space to express your gender identity. In reality, it's very hard to express our identity because we don't have the legal support. Since actual Thai law does little to protect the queer community from discrimination, things like same-sex marriages are not recognized, and transgender people cannot change their gender ID on cards and other official documents." Like Tom, who we met working at a bar called The Balcony on Soi 4. We befriended Tom over several visits, and despite his open and cheerful demeanor, our conversation always rolled around to the fact that he cannot ever marry his partner. This willing lack of government recognition has the effect of dominating the public narrative around sexuality, regardless of what the prevailing opinions may actually be. So for now, we say our goodbyes to Tom and head for Bali, Indonesia. According to Out Now, a marketing and research firm in Holland, Bali is one of the top 10 LGBT destinations in Asia Pacific and Middle East. Yet LGBT people face legal challenges and prejudices not experienced by non-LGBT residents. For example, Indonesia does not recognize same-sex marriage, meaning households headed by same-sex couples are not eligible for any of the same legal protections available to opposite-sex married couples. Bali has long been popular with gay Australians, and this past February, Australia's #1 news site, news.com.au, ran an opinion piece titled "Bali Off the Holiday List Because of Indonesia's Increasingly Dangerous and Draconian Laws." And while that axe never fell, it demonstrates the cultural climate they're dealing with. In a nation of 260 million people, it means around 1 million are at risk of becoming criminals and facing up to 18 months in prison. The importance in Indonesia for social harmony leads to duties rather than human rights being prioritized. So coming out seldom happens in Indonesia as they're afraid of rejection and social backlash. Such is the case with Tila and Daly. Tila works at the small villa where we're staying, and when she found out we were from Toronto, she asked, "Do you know Lucas?" It's a funny question when people ask me if I know so-and-so from Toronto. I mean, it's a pretty big city, don't you know? But in this case, it was Lucas Severus, the lead singer of the Clicks, who's also a trans man. So I figured this may be a clue that my new friend was queer. But it wasn't until day 3 that Tila actually confirmed her sexuality by speaking about her girlfriend Daly, who she wanted us to meet. Together for almost 3 years, both have challenges when it comes to their family's acceptance of this fact. Both families are Hindu, and so the resistance to the relationship is rooted in religious and cultural beliefs about who and what is tolerated in the family. In Daly's family, her uncle is responsible for major decisions, especially as they relate to who the children should and should not date or marry. And in this case, her uncle has spoken, which means Tila cannot ever bring Daly to visit the family's village.
Yeah. My uncle is who's the make decision in my family. My uncle is like very strict with the religion because our culture doesn't agree about this relationship, and then we must, you know what, in Indonesia it's not easy the family accept about us because it's my family from village, so the mindset is still doesn't understand about this relationship like this. If I come to village, just come alone.
The cities of Phnom Penh and Siem Reap have a visible LGBT scene, with many bars, clubs, and other venues catering to the queer community. On the surface, it's billed as a queer paradise, yet while visitors tend to feel accepted, many Cambodians report societal discrimination, including forced opposite-sex marriages, discrimination at work, and bullying at schools. Just last year, Passport, a travel website, published a piece titled LGBT-Friendly Siem Reap and Phnom Penh, Cambodia. And shortly after, Lonely Planet declares Siem Reap the epicenter of LGBT culture in Cambodia.
Siem Reap has given rise to a flourishing gay scene with hotels, bars, restaurants, day spas, boutiques, and tourist attractions being established by local and foreign LGBT entrepreneurs.
And while all this is true, these gay businesses cater to tourists, not locals whose income makes it cost prohibitive to go there in the first place. We met one local entrepreneur who described a different experience. Having moved here from Vancouver, he opened up his own gay bar, but struggles amidst pressure from local authorities, who he must pay off to stay in business. And this is not new. A peer of his had at one time owned 4 of the gay bars in Phnom Penh, closing the last one a few years ago, citing police harassment and extortion. This level of government corruption makes it difficult, if not impossible, to operate safely, and promotes an environment where tourist dollars matter more than the lives of its own people. So as we make our way back home through Vancouver, it's clear that not all gay-friendly destinations are all that gay-friendly, particularly when it comes to their own people. And while there's always some discord on a local level, the real problems facing queers in the places we visited came from government and religious organizations who have a strong hold on human rights. These things should matter to us as queer travelers. It shouldn't prevent us from traveling to a place, but the experience of those who live there should matter, as it directly relates to all of our human rights on a global level.